DC movie universe gets a little bit bigger today. We finally get our Wonder Woman movie starring Gal Gadot, and there was actually a little video before the movie with Gal Gadot and her co-star Chris Pine welcoming everybody to the theater to enjoy this early screening of the flick, which was kind of cool. It also taught us how to pronounce Gal Gadot's name properly.
Her name properly, exactly.
Yes, this
it's
is
Dot, yes.
Johnny Millennium from the Happy Console Gamer, and we are talking about a DC movie that I've been looking forward to for a very long time. I am a Wonder Woman fan.
Are you?
Not a super fan, but I really dig the character, and I've loved the the comic book iterations, the Justice League iterations, and recently the animated series iteration that Warner Brothers put together. And actually, I used to love watching the old TV show.
Linda Carter, that's what I grew up on.
She was fantastic. And you know what? When I was thinking about this movie and looking forward to it, of course, I did a little digging on the old Google. Have you ever checked out the Google?
Never heard of it.
It's pretty
This
good.
is a brand new thing?
It's pretty cool.
Wow.
But Wonder Woman TV show ran for 4 seasons, so that begs the question, why the hell did it take so long before we got a Wonder Woman movie?
I am not a Wonder Woman fan. I did grow up watching
Yeah.
it. I used to watch the cartoon when she'd be flying around in the invisible plane.
Yep.
It was entertaining,
Yeah.
but I wasn't like a fanatic or anything. I
Nope.
didn't hate Wonder Woman, but I never really wanted to see a Wonder Woman movie. And tonight we finally saw a Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah, and you know, here's the thing. I think that Wonder Woman has been, this iconic figure, and definitely a figure that a lot of females have looked up to and a lot of comic fans have looked up to, but she's also been incredibly marginalized, you know? And I have to say that Gal Gadot was a high point in Batman vs. Superman last year, and I think that they cast properly with Gal Gadot, but this was the opportunity for both Gal Gadot and Chris Pine to kind of take the center stage and lead a flick. I'm going to spoil this because I think people have been waiting long enough. I love the movie, but I want to know what you thought of the flick.
Okay, it's Wonder Woman. It's a new superhero movie.
Yes.
I don't like superhero movies too much.
Yes.
I absolutely loved this movie. I really did. Until the end. Some of it's cheesy at the end, but overall, this movie is fantastic.
It's got its heart in the right place, right? I mean, I think I fell in love with this movie when I saw little Diana doing the fighting moves.
In the beginning?
Yeah, and she's just running through her little village in Themyscira, and it just looks so cool, and it just obviously reminded me of my kid, and just, I loved seeing the battle sequences with all of these powerful women just taking, ferocious center stage, and it also all of this fantasy kind of come to life, this almost Lord of the Rings style elements that we get to see, but we never get to see female warriors like this,
Yeah.
And it's incredible.
I actually thought this movie was going to take place in modern day.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really watch too much of the trailers. I'm like,
for
oh,
you.
I don't really want to see too much.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, I realized it's really about her past, how she becomes who she is, leading up to where she is now, and leading to where she will go in the future. And I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
I thought her acting was fantastic.
Me too.
And something else we're going to talk about, we were humming the theme up here.
Yeah.
You were humming the
Yes.
theme. The music stands out.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I was at a superhero movie where the music stood out to me. It was awesome.
Really cool,
And it stands out because the action sequences are so well done.
Yeah.
I was rooting for her all the time.
They're so well done, and they're powerful, and we have seen that a lot, and we have seen this kind of carnage and these kinds of epic battle moments
all
a
the
lot.
time, so much.
And I think the thing that creeps in, the exhaustion that does creep into this movie is the glut. Like, there's so many superhero flicks that are out there, right? And it's hard not to...
I'm jaded. Every single
know.
battle sequence, I've seen it. I'm jaded.
Yes.
Batman versus Superman, the whole movie I was jaded for.
Until you find, and it's a little bit of a spoiler, but if you know anything about Wonder Woman, you know that there's a purity with the character, and there's an innocence with the character, and there's a real love with the character. And when that sort of clicks in, and you recognize that all of her power comes from this honesty and this love for...
great.
It really is a whole
really is.
level of power that is just really unbelievable to watch.
I fell in love with this woman, not because of her looks, but because of her humanity and her caring for people.
Yes.
I was rooting for her character.
Yeah.
And that isn't, that the battle sequences were so good.
Yeah.
I was sitting there, I was just like on the edge of my seat watching these things. How is that even possible?
They honored her.
I am the most jaded motherfucker out there for superhero movies, and I loved it. I love the humanity.
And I
of
think
this.
is it because it reminds you of lore, like RPG type thing,
No,
or
it's
like there's a mythology and then
no.
there's a meta mythology.
I could
here.
connect with this character like I haven't connected to a lot of characters in a long time.
Right.
I rooted for her from the second I saw her right to the end of the movie. I want to see a Wonder Woman too. I want to see more of her.
Yeah, she is so powerful, right? I mean, we start. This is the origin story, and it's also the mystery unveiled as to why this female lead that was in Batman vs Superman could stand toe to toe with both Batman and especially Superman and be so powerful in that film. And I think there's a lot of people out there, mostly because Warner Brothers, let's face it, has dropped the ball with getting this character front and center like this, have some real questions about her history and her backstory, and all of that is kind of explained here in some powerful ways.
In a really well done way.
Really cool way, and we're not going to spoil any of that because that is the crux
of
this
the
film.
movie.
Yes, it's amazing.
Surprises, excitement,
but
yeah.
I throw back to the love, and I also felt the love that Chris Pine had for Gal Gadot, and as Steve Trevor, he's amazing in this movie.
He's really good.
He's so generous and so, soulful and so compassionate, and he's conflicted because he's playing a spy and he's lying through his teeth. Of course, he can't stand up to the magic lasso.
I love the magic lasso.
But there's some real romantic kind of connection between the two.
I hate romance in movies.
Yes.
Romance is dead to me in movies. But yet I bought this.
Yeah.
It needed to happen. It made her character more human.
Yeah.
They pulled it off right, subtle, well done. I can't believe I'm saying that.
You're so right. They don't have it, and it doesn't connect all the time in these superhero flicks. I think we've seen glimpses of that in some of the Spider-Man movies, but it's really hard to pull it off in a genuine way, and I credit the two actors.
Yes.
Chris Pine especially, because he is like Captain Kirk and this mega star, and he kind of
takes a backseat role to her.
He is in a backseat.
But no, he's not.
He personifies why she cares and why she doesn't turn her back when she so easily could. Like she's an Amazon that has been raised to guard and protect, her truth and her empathy and her power from these men that just seem hell-bent on destroying everything. But through this relationship that she has with Steve Trevor, we see her become this superhero, and it's really incredibly effective, and it makes me think of Richard Donner and Superman the movie, which was such a seminal piece of work. It really kind of ushered in this era of superheroes that we're in. But I also thought that this sort of hit with that same level of out of nowhere fun and love and life that the Captain America movie did from Joe Johnston. And I also really enjoyed the Thor movie. And if you fuse Superman and Captain America and Thor together, you kind of get this terrific Wonder Woman movie.
The only bad thing about this movie, and there is a little bit of bad, the whole 75% of the movie is fantastic. The last end of it becomes a little bit Matrixy, but I still liked it.
Yeah.
But it is a little bit hokey, it has to be said.
Well, I think one of the problems that all of these superhero movies sort of paint themselves in the corner with is they have to make a bigger explosion, and then there's a bigger fight,
and then she throws a bigger tank,
and then there's lightning on top of it. It's so big, it's big and big, and bigger and big. And Wonder Woman falls sort of victim to that. Yes, and it's unfortunate.
She raised to the occasion. It's fine.
I don't know if you caught there was a woman a couple of seats away from me, and she was like literally getting up in her seat, and she
felt it, eh?
And I did too.
Yeah, I did too.
Yes.
I liked it. I was riveted, but in the back of my brain, I was going, "This is cheesy. This is a little bit over the top. A little bit of Emperor moments. Ultimate power was going on there." But I still didn't hold it against the movie. But it's the weakest thing in the movie because everything else I loved.
I loved Robin Wright as the sort of lead warrior. She was so powerful and strong. She's a fantastic actor. Love seeing her. Connie Nielsen as the mom was actually really cool as well. Obviously feeling all kinds of dread for what Diana was going to face if she went into the world.
I felt that, yeah.
Jeff Johns is one of the co-writers on this script. But all credit has to go to Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins, who really...
Great performances.
They had the responsibility to not let everybody down. And talk about, not only did they not have to let all of the female superhero fans out there down, but all the people that have been burned by Batman versus Superman.
By bad fucking superhero movies. And there's a lot of them.
Squad, and are looking at this DC universe with real trepidation.
Who would want to step in and do that role? I mean, the pressure's extraordinary.
Honestly, right? The pressure must have been insane for these people to complete this.
I'm surprised anybody would want to
be
be in it, but I'm just like, okay, a Wonder Woman movie, we'll go and do it.
Well,
and then it turned out to be, they didn't know it turned out to be absolutely great.
Yeah. Well, they didn't know that those would suck so much, and that this would be so fun, but they did it. They pulled it off. What are you going to give give Wonder Woman?
I'm going to give it an 8.5.
It gets a 9 from me. Got to get out and see this. This is definitely great superhero
Good
stuff.
stuff.